I feel, I almost feel like a liar. Here we are doing these episodes of these great things that happen, and here's the 5 steps to this, and do that, and life becomes better, and blah, 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 blah. And here we are struggling. Baron and I had a conversation last night, Kayla, and I was, as you guys know, like things are just tough right now. The work hasn't been as readily available as we like over the last 2 or 3 quarters. We've just had tough little season. And, emotionally, it's like I've been struggling with my mindset, my self-talk, this self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And when we were talking to Dustin the other day, from my perspective, he didn't really talk about anything that we had planned to talk to him about. It was almost like, kind of like, in a relationship, it's like, well, she did this and she did that. And, the sheets weren't tucked in right, and she left her makeup on the counter. But that's just a symptom. There's something bigger going on. And that's what I was hearing from Dustin. It's like, there's something bigger going on. And so I just been sitting with it. And so I've just been struggling with this self-doubt. And ironically, in our conversation with Baron, he's been struggling with the same thing. And this kind of reference, Kayla, that there's a little bit of mindset things going on with you as well. And
absolutely.
And this feeling that I've even had over the last couple of weeks of like, I don't even want to get out of bed. What I want to do is I want to go and just bury my head in the sand, stick my fingers in my ears and hum, like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And then there's this level of, I almost feel like a liar. Here we are doing these episodes of, these great things that happen, and here's the 5 steps to this, and, do that, and life becomes better, and blah, 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 blah. And here we are struggling, and here we are. I'm having a hard time writing my goals down. Here we are. I'm just like, I feel, can't remember what the words was that I said last night, Baron, but it's just like, it's just a challenge.
Yeah.
And there's part of me that wants to, like, all right, let's rally, let's have a team meeting, and let's just bring it all together and like have a hoorah session, And as you guys know, like, motivation is great, but then you go back to your house and you spend time with yourself over the weekend, and that self-talk, self-doubt starts creeping in. It's like, so anyhow, I referenced last night when we were talking, or yesterday afternoon when we were talking, listening to Dustin and those episodes, because I feel like something's there. I just feel like there's just something deeper.
Yeah.
And even his very first episode number 1, I think the title of it is Self-Doubt and the Imposter Syndrome.
Yeah.
And, here we've got all this momentum going, but I feel inadequate. I don't feel like I'm worthy of it. I don't feel like in one way I've got it together, but in another way I don't feel like I got it together, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm curious on you guys' perspective and what you guys are seeing and feeling, and I would assume from you guys, you're hearing all of this of what's been said during these podcasts over the last 3-4 months, and there's an encouraging challenging going on, but then probably an inadequacy on you guys' end, so I'm curious, what you guys have been experiencing.
I'm sure you both can relate. Sometimes I feel like I'm struggling with whiplash or something because I'll go from, you know, MJ Way podcast episode and it's so encouraging and uplifting and it's like, dang, we're on fire. I'm so excited. And then it's not that the podcast is great and MJR's not great, but sometimes that's kind of the season that we're in. We're struggling, and we've already said, MJR it's the castle, right? This is where the money's coming in. This is our job. And basically just going from this really positive energy to now MJR back and forth. And MJR is just struggling, right? And I've spoken before about how sensitive I am to energies and everything. So for me, one of the things I've started this week is the gratitude thing that I spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I've felt like just drained, super drained, and it's not like that one person's been draining me. It's just the environment. Like we care so much. And when you care so much, that negativity can impact you. And when things are not going well, it can really hit you hard because you care so much.
Sure.
It's a double-edged sword sometimes. But yeah, no, for me, that's one of the reasons that I've started the gratitude thing of just whatever's going on surrounding me, I have to make sure my center is at peace. I have to make sure I'm healthy no matter what happens. Because ultimately, the reality is we could do everything right and this place could still go down. This ship could still sink.
Yeah.
And therefore we'll pivot. But what's out of my control, I have to let go.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so what Dustin was saying it was speaking to me. Like I took notes after and it was speaking to me just about, being centered and making sure my energy and the frequency that I'm working at it's healthy and it's positive. Because ultimately, especially, I've struggled with anxiety in the past. I don't get more work done when I'm anxious and when I'm worrying. If anything, sometimes it paralyzes me. And I'm just sitting there thinking about like, oh, I've got 100 things to do versus just, hey, let's just focus on one. Let's just do one thing at a time. Um, you know, so I've basically just been in the boat, and this is like, I just started the gratitude thing Monday, and I've already seen a difference in my work ethic, and not work ethic, my, just my momentum and the things that I've accomplished. And it's one of those things, I'm taking back that power. I'm taking back my authority over just the stress and the environment, like the circumstance, basically. Like I have to make sure I'm at a centered place.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I've been doing lately. Very, very fresh, very new, but I think the timing of Dustin saying everything that he did, I don't think that's coincidence. I think that's it. Yeah. Nail on the head for all
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah. I would definitely say, first thing I noticed was this morning's call that we had with the team. It started off of the wins and then moved into gratitude. And I feel like things even shifted there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could feel it.
Yeah. So we know Like I'm finding out even more now that the gratitude part is almost like a retuning of like your internal frequency, right? And so I used to shy away from a lot of that talk because it's like it feels so like mystic and like what are we doing here, right? But I can see now. You and I were talking yesterday, Michael, about and Kayla will know this too because she's a guitar player too. But whenever you are tuning two strings together, one has to be proper. So you have to properly tune the first string, then you can now do the rest of them. And so you'll play the one string and then you'll play the second string. And what people don't realize is unless you play and you tune by ear, is that you're not listening to two different tones. You're listening to wavelengths. You can hear the waves bouncing, blah, 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 blah. And as you get closer into where they're together, it'll go blah, blah, blah. And it's just one tone together. And that's how you know you're in tune. And so sometimes we could be tuned to something else that we don't want. And we're in a complete alignment with that thing. And it's giving us that thing that we're tuned into, right? What we're having to do now is because of, and I'm sure you'll hit on this in a second, Michael, about the scarcity mindset, was that because that's what we were seeing in front of us was scarcity, like now we're starting to make actions to try to do something about the scarcity. And it's this revolving loop that gives us even more scarcity because now we're getting outside of who we are. Meaning in business, we're doing things we would never do because we have a certain standard, but we're trying to fill this need because we always seen a scarcity. And I can even feel this shift even in the last couple of days of all of us just getting into the right mindset of, okay, this is who we are. This is what we do. We're just going to continue to keep doing what we're doing. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up in our meeting, our post meeting with Dustin, when we were in Jenny's office with you, was that we have two options. We can take all of this energy to try to address the scarcity thing, meaning now we're going to start cutting our prices, start dealing with customers that are our ideal customer just to try to get money in the door. Or we can take that same energy, that same effort, and put it into our ideal client, our ideal customer. And yeah, we'll maybe miss a week or two of site visits and things that we want to do. But if we get that one customer, it's going to now bring in, half $500,000. It's going to take over the bad customers that we don't want to work with that are really on our ideal customer, right? They can afford us. And so anyways, I think a big thing was definitely, I can sense that it's not just tuning into the right frequency, it's getting the thing that we're tuned into to be the right thing. Because we were tuned in, but we should tune into the wrong thing, to the wrong. Now we're at our actual E. We're tuning that A string to the E, right? Like and that's what I feel is the shift that's happened. I also want to say this. Most bosses, me and Kayla know this, you know this, you've worked for bosses, they don't do this type of stuff where, hey, what's going on with me? Right? Like it's normally, hey, somebody else has done something wrong, and now we got to put all this action into fixing it. And I feel like this right here, we're doing right now, is the actual compass. It's the real reason. It's like you just said a couple minutes before. We're trying to deal with symptoms, and this is actually the root of the problem here.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so too. I can see where, just like there's a parallel going on here. Just like with MJR, this season of struggle has actually been a blessing because we've been able to go to the foundation and figure out how can we improve, where are the blind spots, because if not, we're not going to be able to properly scale. So, but I think that's exactly what's going on with us personally as well.
Yeah.
Is where are the blind spots? Where are the weaknesses within all of us?
Yeah.
Because let's say you do go viral tomorrow and all these doors open up. What if we're not ready? Like, what if this is the moment that we are getting properly just secure? Not that we're not secure in who we are, but there's just there's things that we all need to grow in so that we can personally scale and be ready for the doors that are about to open up.
Yeah. I was after our call yesterday, I had it's either after our call or before our call, I can't remember. But I've been meeting with a Tony Robbins coach, and more on just more therapy side of things, not necessarily like the Ruha of like the Tony Robbins, but still incorporating some of his philosophy and how he does things. But one of the things that really resonated with me yesterday was a statement he made, and he goes, with the circumstances we're in right now, it's either conditioning me and strengthening me if I let it, and another thing he said was, this season is conditioning me, not feeding me.
Mm.
And, I just really resonated with, we can take this and go and look at it in two different viewpoints, and going, this freaking sucks. I don't know why I'm in this. Let's react. Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's do this. And it's coming from a place of a reactive mode, or shifting it and being proactive. And we don't necessarily have to have the answer, but it being more of the situation we're in is going to strengthen me.
Yeah.
It will strengthen me. I will come out of this stronger.
Yeah.
I am grateful for this time. It is going to make me better. And we don't have to believe that we have to hit rock bottom to have a shift, a turn, a moving in a different direction. Me personally, I've been here before, and I'm going to choose to take what I have learned and get through it, and turn this thing around. I've been here before. And, so I really just resonated with the conditioning side of it. He left me with a statement that he wants me to repeat several times throughout the day. And he said, I lead my state. Pressure doesn't control me. I breathe. I reset. I focus on what I can control. I do not train frustration. I train leadership. This season is conditioning me, not feeding me.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
would you send that to us?
Absolutely. And he said, you create your state regardless of conditions.
Yeah.
We have a choice. And, I think it's easy for us to just want to go, oh, I'll take this statement and yes, I'll repeat it and I'll be good, but the Michael Jordans, the Steve Currys, the Tiger Woods, they got good because they repeated the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, the Steve Curry, practice. What's that?
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry. I
No,
knew it
Steve.
didn't sound right.
I thought you were saying Steve Kerr. Like I was like,
That
it
too.
was his coach.
Probably Steve Kerr, but
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
That's great.
Um, the 500 shots a day.
Yeah.
The and where our part is just like them. Those 500 shots a day is behind closed doors when nobody's seeing it. And we've got this choice of, you either go there. You're going to go there regardless. You're either going on the positive or you're going on the negative.
Yeah.
That either way, you're going there. So if you're going there, then when you recognize it, like for me, I recognize the tension in my traps. Like I feel it like really start to, like I just had a trap workout and I haven't even done anything type thing.
Probably in the store there, yeah.
And sitting there going, okay, the things I can control, I can pause, I can take some deep breaths, I can, just breathe for a moment, do some maybe box breathing or something like that, I can ask myself the question of, what can I control? I can remind myself and give meaning of the statement I made earlier of this is conditioning me and strengthening me if I let it.
Yeah.
And then I can create the state regardless of condition. Those are things that we do have a choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We also have the choice to go, I'm going to bury myself in the sand. I'm going to put my fingers in my ears and hum, I'm going to get frustrated. It's, and as cliche as it is, and I'm so guilty of choosing that path. And I know I'm doing it. Like I want to do it. I want to like go sit in it.
Yeah.
But I also feel like this season, as I shared with you yesterday, Baron, of just this caterpillar being in this cocoon. And honestly, in this cocoon that I feel like I'm in, I feel like every bone in my body is being crushed right now.
Yeah.
Every bone. Like, I just feel like I'm just getting tweaked and twisted. And like, how can I go through this and come out on the other end?
Yeah.
And
that's, to me, that is a thing. Because if you think about it, a cocoon is a very restrictive place. You can't move because the metamorphosis has to take place. If you're moving around, it won't happen. It's just like taking something out of the microwave too fast, right? You need to let it cook. And so I think the mindset you're in right now of, okay, this is not going to break me. It's going to make me better. It's going to shape me it is the antithesis of that idea of, okay, we're in a cocoon and we have to go through this to be able to transform so we can handle what's coming. The good things that are coming, the more influence, the ability to serve people at a higher level. These things have to change. And that's one of the things I've even been dealing with was almost this imposter syndrome. There's two things that I noticed, even from my own personal life. And I'll probably want to bring this up to you, Michael, because I know we got about 8 minutes, maybe about 6 minutes before you have to roll out. One thing I noticed with you is there is a parallel between your trip across America on a bicycle and this event going on. The difference is you voluntarily went into that situation. You didn't voluntarily go into this one. This one came upon us. But the way you dealt with the previous is the same way we're going to deal with this way.
Yeah.
You can't quit. You got to figure out how to just roll with it, and you got to figure out how to get your wins, and not allow emotions like you've told us. Don't make decisions based on emotion. If you're feeling down, go sleep on it, come back, get rested. Then when you were talking about you needed those those days in between where you just didn't do anything. Because everything you needed when you came back to get on the bike a day or so after you rested all day, just sat on a bed and just ate all day and watched TV, you were able to get up and now go hit another big, stretch before you need that rest again.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. I also think it's a mirror showing, hey, while we're in this cocoon, these are the things that we wouldn't fix if things were going great, because there was no need to fix those things, right? So like, hey, we're fixing some of our processes. I believe what we're going on and we're doing right now is enabling us to now reach that first marker that we want, which is 10 million. And then after that, it's going to be the 100 million mark, right? Because then it's just scaling after that. The one other thing that I did notice for my own personal life was realizing when I feel paralyzed. And why do I feel paralyzed? I remember, and I'm not trying to get go dark or anything, but I remember my first ever feeling of being fearful and paralyzed was during a domestic violence episode when I was about 4 or 5. And before that aired, my mom said, you would just go jump off buildings. You just had no fear. And that was one moment that I realized when I saw this incident happen, with my mom and my dad. And I just got paralyzed in fear. And that thing stuck with me so long to where I notice when I'm about to go do something that I shouldn't be fearful to do, or it's going to take courage, this thing tends to want to rise up and make me want to now just go, not get out of bed, and I believe that's some sort of thing in my past that has to die. It was there to maybe to protect me at one point, but it's something that it can't go with us or for me personally, it can't go with me into this next season.
Yeah.
Like that old part of my identity that maybe was good at the time, but it can't go with us. And so I'm not trying to be preacher or anything, but I have been finding some things that even from like a Christian viewpoint of Jesus talked about you can't put new wine into old wineskins. I believe that has to do everything with identity, because he's talking about us putting on the new man, and Paul used it to refer to putting on a new identity. So we can't walk in that old identity and try to have the results of the new identity. And that's one thing I'm learning from this past couple of weeks of doing complete identity training, and also in my journey with fitness, it's been all about identity. Like if we can get the identity down, you'll change the habits, or you'll create new habits, and then will give you the results you want. So many people just focus on the results and they never change the person on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
The person on the inside is the one that gave you the results that you didn't want in the first place. So I started thinking, okay, I used to do this for this reason. Other people had other things to deal with stress. I would deal with stress by eating. And it was like a comfort, almost like a friend. And I was like, I can't do that no more. I don't do that no more. That's not who I am anymore. Mm-hmm. Food is just fuel. And I have other ways to deal with stress. And right now it's been walking and even exercise and stuff. That's how I deal with stress. If I feel stressed out, I'm going to go walk. And normally that's what it does for me. It gives me what I need. That dopamine hit or whatever. It calms me down, gets me back to center. So I agree 100% with what you're talking about, Michael. You are in a cocoon. I think we're all in a cocoon. I think we're all in this thing together. We're all kind of wrapped together, in this cocoon. And it feels restrictive. Think about it. We've been trying everything. And it's like, we can't do this. We can't go over here. We're trying. And now I think you're at a place of, okay, this is maybe meant to happen. What do we need to learn from this? How do we grow from this? And then how do we surrender? I know it's gonna be hard for people listening, like what do you mean surrender? But like, how do you allow this transformation to happen? It feels very spiritual, almost metaphysical. We're not trying to get weird, but that's the one thing I told you last night. That is the one caveat that nobody talks about with hustle culture, is that you can hustle your ass off and keep going in the wrong direction. You're going to keep getting the wrong results because you're doing the wrong things. You have to get this, like Caleb was saying, and you were saying, you have to get this frequency thing down right to where I'm doing this for the right reason, and I'm doing it out of the right reason, not, if we're doing it for the wrong reason, we're going to keep getting the wrong results.
Yeah. And sometimes hustle culture can also kind of go into like bulldozing mode of like, I am going to go there no matter who's in my way. You're getting ran over. And it's like, if we actually wanted to scale, then we got to scale with our team. Like if we've built something great here, we can't get into that hustle mindset because it's almost like bulldozing. Also, I looked up something about a caterpillar that I think you guys are going to like. So you said that you feel like you're not being fed right now, but you're being conditioned. So a caterpillar, once it's in the cocoon, it doesn't eat in the traditional sense. It actually digests its own body. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's happening right now, bro. That old us is getting eaten up.
Right. And I just want to encourage you, Michael, because I think this is going to be one of the things that you teach other people about. Most bosses, they just care about progress. And it's one of those things, if you don't give me results, you're out. I'll find somebody else. Like that's normal, right? But I think you're going to teach people a different way. I really do, because you care about the heart. You care about, you figure it's the foundation of us is our mental and emotional state. If we can heal that and strengthen that, we're going to produce better results. Our progress will be better. Most bosses don't care about that.
Sure.
So even I think the next phase we're even in right now is you strengthening yourself in this area and strengthening all of us, teaching us how to strengthen all of us. And I think this is honestly the last step before things blow up for you. I really do.
Yeah. Well, and I want to encourage you also, you became vulnerable on these calls in the morning, and you're like, I'm going to share some things I'm grateful for. And, to be quite honest with you, most people probably look at that as corny, or, it's just like, oh, that's whatever. But in days, that call has shifted.
Yeah.
Days. And it started with a gratitude where I faked it at first. I had to just go so basic because I didn't have the belief in anything else. And so, as corny as it may sound, when you're on the phone going, I'm grateful that the fact that I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
That call shifted this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It started how many people of the 13 people that were on that call, or 12 people that were on that call, how many people said something about being grateful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which shows how it's contagious. So you, as our leader, as you're about to take on this new journey, and I think it's perfect timing too that you are going on vacation next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
That reset. I think you need to just take that time, obviously, to relax, but also just dream again.
Yeah. Yeah. And you might be already doing this, bro, but I would definitely, like I told you, I was on the treadmill for 30 minutes, and I could literally just close my eyes and just literally just visualized. And that was a huge shift for me. I was like, bro, the belief was just so much easier. Like, okay, yeah, this is going to happen. Being in that environment, it's relaxing. You know what I'm saying? Drink you some pina coladas. Just close your eyes, man. Dream away, dude.